People with mental health problems are weak. People with mental health problems are unreliable. People with mental health problems make bad employees. People with mental health problems are mad. People with mental health problems are dangerous. All of the above statements are false, however, they make up some of the most common misconceptions about people who have a mental health problem. So today on the UK's only show dedicated to one's mental health and well-being, we are discussing mental health stigma, and I'm your host, Chrissy B. Now, people who are living with a mental health condition often hear things from others that are dismissive, offensive, or hurtful. And matters are made even worse when these things are said by loved ones, colleagues, and even healthcare professionals. Here's a quote from someone living with a condition as an example. "The stigma of being violent and dangerous is the worst for me. I am a caring and empathetic soul who would do anything for the people I love." Well, this is exactly one of the reasons why this show exists, to dispel the myths and get people understanding more about mental health, and to make it easier for those with mental health issues to open up and talk. Oh, and just for the record, the proportion of people living with a mental health problem who commit a violent crime is extremely small. Now, there are lots of reasons someone might commit a violent crime, and factors such as drug and alcohol misuse are much more likely to be the cause of violent behaviour. So we want to hear from you, our viewers. Tell us your comments about what you think about mental health stigma on info@chrissybshow.tv. You can also tweet us at Chrissy B Show or leave a message on our Facebook page of The Chrissy B Show. So let me tell you about my guest today. First up, we have our resident autism correspondent, Anna Kennedy, with her guest, Dorset Mind Ambassador, Calvin Billington-Glen. Now, Calvin has Asperger's syndrome and in the past has suffered with severe anxiety, clinical depression and psychosis. But he speaks about his personal experience at several events in a bid to raise awareness and reduce the stigma related to speaking out about mental health. And he's also a very talented singer-songwriter and will be treating us to performance later on. Now, we always talk about exercise on this show because we all know it's great for us and can make us physically and mentally stronger. But you might say, Chrissy, I have no time to exercise. Well, don't worry, because Natalia Kotoska will be taking us through a circuit workout that anyone can fit into a busy schedule. After that, we have our Psychology Matters segment with Dr. Audrey Tang, and she'll be talking more about what stigma is and how it affects people. And Helena Shard brings us the news around the topic. Also on today's show, Dr. Rob Hicks will be answering your medical questions in this week's Doctor's Answers. We also have a short video courtesy of the Mental Health channel showing us two friends who work in a very busy kitchen and what they do to unwind. And nutritionist Hannah Richards will be showing us a yummy and nutritious recipe. So, are you ready? Let's kick off the show today with autism correspondent Anna Kennedy and her guest, Dorset Mind Ambassador Calvin Billington-Glen. Welcome to the show, Anna and Calvin.
Hello.
Hi.
Lovely to have you both on. So Calvin, just before we speak to you, we need to get our monthly update from Anna first of all. So do tell us what you've been up to, Anna.
I've just come back from the northeast. It was supposed to be a break.
But it wasn't, was it?
No, well, it was partly a break. It was quite tough with Angelo, but I went to an inclusive festival at Scunthorpe where I spoke, and then also went to a new project. So I'll tell you more about that maybe next month or the month after that. So that's quite exciting.
Lovely.
And the big update is NHS England are saying that autism is going to be part of their 10-year manifesto. So, or they're planning. Part of me is like excited, but part of me is thinking, is that lip service? Is it just going to be recommendations? Hopefully it'll be requirements so it can make a big difference to families.
Well, I'm sure people like you around pushing for things, I'm sure it's going to take off.
Yeah, so it's exciting, but let's keep our fingers crossed.
Okay. So today we are actually speaking about mental health stigma, and I know, Calvin, you've been through some issues yourself. Can you tell us about that first before we get onto your singing and songwriting? So what were the kind of things you went through?
So at the age of 8, I was diagnosed with Asperger's, which is a form of autism, but I kind of always knew I was different from a younger age. And then along with that, I struggled quite a lot with depression, anxiety. I had some quite bad psychosis for a couple of years.
Okay.
And obviously that made things quite hard for a little while.
How long were you kind of struggling with those kind of things, would you say?
The clinical depression was quite bad from the ages of 11 to 14, along with, and the psychosis kind of intertwined with that.
Okay. And did you sort of face difficulties in terms of like maybe worried about what other people were thinking about you and things like that? Did you ever face anything?
Definitely. I mean, I had really bad bullying, so that massively knocked my confidence. And there was just a period of a couple of years where I couldn't leave the house. I was just I was in such a low mood. It was really hard.
So would you say that was because people didn't understand your condition?
Yeah, it was also a fact that I didn't really understand myself. I knew I was different, but I couldn't quite work out why.
Yeah. What makes you different then? For the viewers that are watching now, they don't really know what Asperger's is. What is it exactly, and how does it make you special?
Always a hard one to define it in a short time, but Asperger's is a difficulty in communication, really, in social interaction. But then there's positives which come with it as well, you know, like being able to focus really hard on certain things.
Okay.
Such.
Brilliant. So now, when did you get into singing and songwriting?
I got into that in about the age of 11. I did a Freddie Mercury tribute down a local karaoke.
Okay, so how did that go?
It's good fun.
Yeah,
the top stayed on 50% of the time.
Okay. so that's when you saw that you really had a passion for it?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. I loved performing. It was the only thing which made me happy. So.
Okay, and then how did the two of you meet then, Anna?
Well, we met at Autumn's Got Talent, the famous Autumn's Got Talent. We were just chatting about it earlier today, thinking, when was it when you first appeared? And it was 2015.
2015, yeah.
And you've appeared so many times now in the road shows, in the main show, and he's just so comfortable when he's on stage. It's just effortless for him. And we were talking about friendships that have been made, what happens behind stage. So so if somebody wanted to go for Autumn's Got Talent, what sort of tips would you give them?
Just go for it. It was such a life-changing event for me, because it made me realise who I was and made me be happy with who I was, seeing all these other amazing people. So just go for it, because it's amazing.
How do you feel when you sing?
It's so hard to describe. It is just such an amazing, warm feeling, and it's like it's just you. I could be performing to an audience of 1,000 people. It's just, I'm in my zone, and it gives me so much happiness and joy to perform to other people. Well,
I'm very happy to tell our viewers that Calvin is going to be performing for us later on, aren't you? What are you going to be performing?
I'm going to be singing a song by Elvis called If I Can Dream.
Okay, why that particular song? Do you like that?
It's a good song. It's mainly about Elvis had a vision of hope. I mean, he had some dark periods himself as well. So the song's very much about dreaming of a better land where everyone's accepted for who they are. And I think that's such a great message, especially when talking about autism or mental health, because everyone should just be accepted for who they are. Okay.
Now, there's other interesting things about you, Calvin, because you actually also ambassador for, is it Dorset Mind?
Dorset Mind,
yes. How's that?
That's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I get to go around doing talks about mental health to people who might not know that much about it. So it's really great. It's
really great from like where you've come from being so low and really depressed and everything, to now actually doing talks about it. How does that feel to have sort of made that progress?
Sometimes I look back and I'm like, wow, it's I'm so glad I'm where I am now, and I go out doing the talks because I don't want anyone to end up at the really low point I was at.
Okay, definitely. And there's another thing as well, isn't it? Tell us about the BBC Radio 1 Teen Awards. What happened there?
Oh, that was amazing. I had no idea what was going to happen on the day. I strolled up to Kensington Palace and then got told in 5 minutes Prince William and Prince Harry will be in here. I was like, I haven't done my hair properly.
What were you doing there in the first place?
No, I got nominated by Dorset Mind, and I was so honoured to be there amongst so many other inspirational people.
So you met some of the royals then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you nervous?
I was nervous, but they were so lovely and so brilliant about talking about mental health as well.
Amazing. Okay.
I nominated him for the Diana Award, and you got that as well, didn't you? So that was a great...
That was both on the same week as well.
Oh, that's too much excitement, isn't it, for 1 week? Well done, congratulations. And Calvin, what would you say to anyone that is like going through maybe a dark moment and feeling that there's not much hope for them or a future for them? What would you say?
Yeah, I'd say try and find something positive to focus on. I always say that because music changed my life and then allowed me to get out there doing something I really loved. And things will get better, and you know, it sounds cliche, but there is always light at the end of a tunnel.
There is, I agree with you, definitely.
He's a great role model.
He is, he's brilliant, I love him. And I can't wait to hear him singing as well.
Very busy as well, aren't you, with your mic nights?
Open mic nights.
Open mic nights. So he's only 17, but he is a workaholic. I see him pop up.
That sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. But I see him pop up on social media all the time, and I can see how he's blossomed in the last 3 years. He's just like amazing young man.
Brilliant.
Making me blush.
Now, back to you for a second. Now, there's more coming up, isn't there? Tell us about what's
it's coming up to the Hero Awards, the Autumn Hero Awards, where you're kindly going to be one of the judges. You're going to have a tough time.
Oh gosh.
So September the 10th is when everyone's going to get together, and you're going to have to choose 3 finalists for each category. Yeah, so
everyone's so talented.
I know. So it's 12 different categories. So September the 5th. So if you'd like to nominate someone, it's www.autismheroawards.com. And we've also got Autumn's Got Talent, the roadshow, coming up in the Wirral. So each month when highlighting, we're doing an Autumn's Got Talent roadshow spotlight on each of the performers, so that's quite exciting.
Brilliant. Oh wow, okay, lovely. So looking forward to that one on the 10th.
Bring your tissues.
Oh no, don't. To really prepare myself. Anna, thank you so much for coming on. And we'll see you again soon. Calvin, thank you. And we're going to be hearing from you later when you'll be performing for us. Brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. All right, everybody, before we go to break, we do have on Natalia Kotoska, who'll be taking us through a circuit workout that anyone can do, even those that are really busy. Anna, you can do this too. See you after this.
Hey guys, it's me again, your fitness expert, Natalia Kotoska, and you with Nat. And today I'm here with my assistant, Carlos. We're gonna present you guys a circuit. 3 exercises. Hard, tough exercises, and Carlos will show it to you how to do it the right way. First one, we're gonna go for star jumps, but I don't want you to go for the regular slow star jumps. What I want you to do is go faster, have your elbows bent in 90 degrees, open hands, fast feet, you go as fast as you can. Yeah, so instead of going all the way up, I want you to go fast and speed. We're gonna do 10 of those. Right after, we're gonna move to high knees, all the way up. So those knees as high as you can. Again, 10 of those. Right after that, we're gonna move to frost squat. So let me show it to you. We're gonna go plank position, and I want you to stay all the way up here. Down, hop, up. So feet as close to your hands as possible. You can leave them here if you want to, but I want to challenge you. I want you to sit nice and deep, extend your arms, squat position. Hop, 1, 2, 10 of those. So we go 10 star jumps, 10 high knees, and 10 frost squats, arms, hands up, yeah? Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go, Carlos. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. 10 star jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, breathe. 8, 9, 10. High knees. High knees. 1, 2, 3, 4. High, high, high. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go down. Let's go. 1. That's right. Let's go. 2. Yes. 3. 4. Come on. You don't have to go all the way down. Just plank position. 6. Let's go. 4 more. 7. 8. 9. 1 more. Let's go, let's go, let's go. 1 more. 10. 10, 1. Let's go. 1 more. 1 more. You have 1 more to do. Come on. We're not skipping anything. We're not cheating. All the way up. Breathe. Good job, Carlos. Breathe. So you want to breathe all the time. So as you can see, it's not as easy. It's a very intense exercises, hard, really hard workout. But if you're gonna do it in one go, 3 exercises, 10 each, let's say in 3 minutes long, you're really gonna burn a lot of calories. So you want to go for AMRAP, as many rounds as possible, let's say for 3 minutes. How do you feel, Carlos?
I feel good.
Out of breath? That's what it is. That's what we do here in Chrissy B Show. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.
Primary School, Hillingdon Manor School,
Studio 68,
Hendon School. I decided on a dance because dance, crosses all barriers.
It's very inspirational. Helps you express yourself.
You can express like emotions.
Because I know what it feels like to be depressed and feel heavy all the time, but I also know what it feels like to be on the other side and completely recovered. I don't want anyone to have to learn to live with depression.
What did you think of the dance when you first heard of it? I thought it was going to be amazing.
Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show, everyone. So today we've been discussing mental health stigma, and earlier we met Calvin, who unfortunately faced a lot of bullying because people didn't understand his autism and really treated him badly. But thank goodness he's doing really, really well today. And if you missed the beginning of that, actually, you can head over to our YouTube channel tomorrow and catch it there. So now we have on Dr. Audrey Tang, who's going to be telling us more. Hello, Audrey.
Hello, Chrissy.
Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on. So, very important topic to discuss. Yes. But can you tell us a bit more about what stigma actually is?
Yes, stigma is defined as an unfair mark of disapproval. It might be against a person, it might be a group of people, and it tends to be related to when we were all in communities and tribes, and whilst we could all live in harmony and in peace and accept each other, often there'll be a lot of competition. Okay. The best way of beating that competition would be to have an in-group and an out-group. If you weren't part of the in-group, then that would be something that made you part of the out-group, and unfortunately that would be something which maybe you couldn't control. It might be ethnicity, it might be gender, and then it can be other things like how much money you earn or whether you're wearing the right shoes. And those things can sometimes make one group or one person feel better about themselves just by criticising you for that particular thing. Dear. So it's very unfair, and it's a form of disapproval, and it's a real shame.
How does stigma actually affect others, though?
It affects us in a lot of different ways, but the main way is isolation. It's hard enough to make friends anyway. And if you don't know how people are going to respond to you, you're not sure, are they going to treat me weirdly because of something that might be wrong with me, or the way I look, or the way I sound or dress, then you might isolate yourself even further. Also, it might be people actually being nasty to you because they want to put you into that particular out group. So that isolation can lead to further problems, anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, all of those mental health issues that can just exacerbate. Research, unfortunately, has shown that, especially when it comes to mental health stigma, if somebody does undergo all that bullying or all of those negativity feelings, then it can actually A, stop them seeking help in the first place because they don't want to admit anything, and B, it can send them into relapse. So they may go through therapy, or they may go through something which helps them, and then suddenly they're right back where they started. So that's a real shame too. So it does affect us in a lot of different ways, and the worst thing is it then has repercussions as well.
In your opinion, what can be done about it? Can anything be done?
There's a few things that we can do ourselves. If we are in a position where perhaps we have a disorder that has been stigmatized, it's just remembering, times will change, and it does take time, but talk about it, let people know about it. Often stigma happens because of ignorance and fear, not necessarily because of maliciousness. So if we continue to raise awareness, stand your ground. Try and use facts and figures to back up what you're saying and why you should be taken seriously. Keep raising awareness. There's now some wonderful campaigns. There's the Time to Change campaign, which is based in the UK. And there's also things like there's an autism bus where actually if you go onto the bus, you can experience what it's like. And that can actually make us feel a little bit more compassion. And that's really important. There's, I think it's an MS cafe. So again, everything's done where things are nailed to the floor. So you actually begin to feel how heavy the body sensation is when you go and sit in there. So again, that hopefully suggests acceptance.
It's very clever, isn't it?
It's wonderful because learning about it firsthand helps us show compassion. And with that, it's important to model acceptance. If we can bring up a new generation of people who are open, who are accepting, who don't sit there and say, I must be better than you, or I must put you down in order to feel good about myself. If we can bring up the new future leaders to say, well, I'm okay, you're okay, you like this, I like that, but that's okay too, that would be wonderful. Children generally aren't born with that feeling of dislike against somebody. They have to learn that. So if we model acceptance, if we model compassion, then that will be passed on to other people.
Okay, brilliant. Audrey, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
And we shall see you again next time.
Yes.
Thank you. Well, everybody, now it's time to head over to Helena Shard for this week's A Helping of Happy. Welcome to the show, Helena.
Thank you, Chrissy.
So, mental health stigma, what have you got to tell us?
Well, various different things. I'm going to start with Mamma Mia, which is a great film that's out at the moment that gets everyone dancing down the aisles, and it's really super dope. I haven't seen it, but it's really good fun. Have you?
It's nice.
Is it good?
Yeah. I think it starts off a bit slow, but then you sort of get into it.
I'm going to go and see it. Yeah. So I thought it was apt to talk about Amanda Siegfried, who's the main actress in that.
The daughter.
Who's now 32, I think.
Yeah, I think
daughter,
so.
Yeah. She's actually lived with OCD and panic attacks since her childhood.
Oh, wow.
And she is on antidepressants, but she uses her faith and calm environment, obviously antidepressants and everything, to get through it all. And she'd been coping with obsessive thoughts from about the age of 10. Oh, wow. It sort of really overwhelmingly worried her, but look how successful
How did she manage to do that film? Wow.
I know, and apparently that does happen when she starts filming. She does fall into this anxiety, but she gets through it. Okay. But incredible. So she's passionate about talking about these challenges because obviously to reduce the stigma and so that no other kids will go through the same sort of dark place that she went through. She wishes she'd known because she would have spoken to her family, and instead she thought she was crazy and just kept it locked in. Okay. So she saw a psychiatrist in her late teens, and one of her main things is she was a perfectionist and didn't want to disappoint anybody. So the same thing. So acting now serves as therapy, and she's developed loads of tools, as we've mentioned, to overcome her fears and regain focus. And the main thing about it is living in the now. She says that she gets so much satisfaction out of that, it's sort of quite euphoric. And as well as acting, she finds living in the countryside on her farm very lucky, and with a young little girl that she has, enjoying her animals, going and buying fresh food, and it's all part of her coping toolbox. But interestingly as well, she fell pregnant not long ago. As I said, she's got a young daughter who's 1, but she was worried about maintaining her emotional balance. And she still stayed on her psychiatric medications. She took advice and everything, but luckily she didn't have any problem at all. She had a wonderful pregnancy, which is good because obviously it's postpartum. And moving on to that, so Adele recently, the singer Adele that we know, she posted an emotional Instagram post praising her best friend for talking about her heartbreaking battle with postpartum, and she is the godmother to her son. So I think for 6 months she's had it. She's still working her way through it. And she's
so hard to deal with, especially if you've not had any mental health issues and all of a sudden,
all of a sudden you've got that. And there's so many people now talking about it, and it's scary. I mean, even last night someone was talking about it and they'd suffered with it for 3 years. And it was complete blur. It sort of took over, but amazing. And she was saying, so Adele was saying everybody, all mamas and everything, to talk about their feelings, going through it, because obviously you can save your life, save someone else's life, so it's so important. So it's always good to get these feel-good Instagram things. And moving on to somebody who I find amazing, so Derek Paravicini and Adam Ockleford. the key of genius, and it's living through music, and why we really need education, music education, to continue. And Derek Paravicini was born 3.5 months prematurely. He's blind and has severe autism, but he has this most amazing innate talent, which came, and a lot of practice as well, and he became a concert pianist by the age of 10. Wow. And it was 3.5, you know, and severe autism, and it was his grandma that discovered he had something about music and got this sort of, I think it was an organ down from the loft, and he was bashing away at this organ, and by 4 he could actually play all these tunes. He'd listen and could play things, so they knew he was quite extraordinary. And Adam Ockelfield, who works with lots of people with disabilities, just says how amazing he is. And in fact, they did an amazing TED talk, and he can actually play 2 pianos at the same time, and absolutely anything, pitch perfect, he can just play it. Wow. So I mean, extraordinary, because also that's obviously his profession, so he earns a good living from that, and absolutely amazing. If he didn't have that, his teacher said that he's got such an active brain, but without it he'd be so unhappy and disturbed. And obviously people are trying to cut back on the arts and go back to basics. I understand that. But that is basic. Yeah, it is. Because obviously without that there'd be no growth, and we'd miss out on this wonderful talent. So absolutely exciting. So, and also social inclusion, which is one of the main things as well. But I just think absolutely stunning. I
want to hear him now.
You should. Go onto YouTube. It's just incredible. Incredible.
Thank you so much, Helen.
Thank you, Chrissy.
And we shall see you again next week.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Well, everyone, after the break, we have a short video courtesy of the Mental Health channel showing us 2 friends who work in a very busy kitchen and what they do to unwind. And Dr. Rob Hicks will be answering your medical questions, and here's one of them. I've noticed recently that quite a lot of hair comes out when I'm brushing my hair. It's really started to stress me out. Let's see what Rob has to say after this. Hi, I'm Chrissy B, host of the UK's only TV programme dedicated to mental health and well-being, The Chrissy B Show, which airs on MyTV Sky 191 every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Follow our social media on YouTube, Instagram and Twitter at Chrissy B Show, and our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. For more information, visit chrissybshow.tv. Welcome back to today's Chrissy B Show, everybody, and now it's time for Doctor's Answers with Dr. Rob Hicks. Hello, Rob.
Hi, Chris.
How are you today? Full of energy?
Full of energy, lifting everybody up.
Brilliant. Okay, so let's help our viewers then.
We'll try.
Okay, so let's go to the first question. This viewer is saying, I've noticed recently that quite a lot of hair comes out when I'm brushing my hair. Why could this be happening? It's really starting to stress me out.
And in fact, that will potentially make matters worse, you know, by being stressed about it. So the real question is how much is being lost, because it's quite normal for all of us to lose somewhere between 50 and 100 hairs a day. That's a normal process, because the hair goes through a sort of growth and shedding cycle anyway, but it's normal to lose that much.
Sounds like a lot.
It does, and people react like that, but then they're told, well, actually, this is okay, you know, you shouldn't be bothered by this. The real question is you know, are you losing it in patches, or is it thinning? Is it associated with other symptoms? So, for example, has it come on suddenly? Is it associated with your scalp feeling itchy or burning, that sort of sensation? Whether that's the case or not, if you are losing hair and you're concerned about it, then you should have a checkup with your doctor, because there are a number of medical conditions and lifestyle issues that could be responsible. So from a medical point of view, the medical conditions include iron deficiency, an underactive thyroid gland, diabetes, for example. From a sort of life point of view, rapid weight loss can result in hair shedding as well, as can stress, as can just being in the first year after having a baby, because when many women are pregnant, they find that their hair becomes thicker and more luxurious is what they describe, and then sort of 3 to 6 months after they've had their child, they find that a lot of it falls out and thins, and that's quite normal, and by the time the child's turned 1, the hair is back to what it normally is again. But it's important to think about those as potential causes, as is the side effects of any medication you might be taking. If you are losing it in patches, then sometimes it's down to a fungal infection, which obviously needs treatment. So what I would urge you to do is actually have a consultation with your doctor, let the doctor examine the type of hair loss you've got and run any necessary tests. But the most important thing to do in the meantime is try not to worry about it, because we do find that people who worry and get stressed about this actually perpetuates the problem.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Rob. Next question. Is it normal to have stiff legs when getting up in the morning? This has only been an issue for me recently. I'm in my 40s and in good health.
That's an interesting question, isn't it? And the first thing that springs to mind is that this could actually be normal because it's a result of something that's happened. So, for example, you know, has our viewer taken up a new form of exercise? Have they just come back from a day out where they've been climbing a lot of steps, or maybe they've been on a trip where they've been climbing lots of steps, or doing a lot of walking that they're not used to, or cycling, for example. So that's the first thing I would suggest you do is look at what you've been doing, you know, recently, or what you now do, whether that's related to exercise or activity, or even your position at a place where you work, to see whether that's put in undue stress on your legs. So essentially, you're exercising them in some form during the day. It doesn't have to be in the gym. You could simply be, you know, delivering newspapers, for example, or flyers. And then, of course, when you wake up the following morning, they're aching because you've put them through a workout. So that's the first thing to think about. The other thing is this associated with any other symptoms? So are your legs feeling swollen in any way? Do they feel tender? Do parts of them, like the joints, feel warm? Are they reddened in any way? Whatever the situation, if this is a new problem and it's not getting better and you can't pinpoint why it's happening, it is important to get this checked out. But the likelihood is this is going to be something to do with a change in lifestyle, which you've just taken on naturally without thinking about it. But actually what you're doing is you've been giving your legs a jolly good workout without appreciating that.
Okay, thank you, Rob. And last question for today. Lately, I can't seem to do a number 2 as easily as normal, and I've had a rather itchy anus for a couple of weeks. I don't bleed, so I don't think it's piles. What could the problem be? I'd rather not go to the doctor about this if I can help it, as I'm a bit embarrassed. So any advice would be much appreciated. I know what you're going to say.
You know,
don't be embarrassed.
Yes, exactly. And you're absolutely right, Chris. Is that people understandably feel embarrassed about certain parts of the body, and this is one area that most people feel embarrassed about. The reality is you've no need to feel embarrassed, because your doctor will have seen it all before. And
hundreds of them,
hundreds and possibly thousands, yes. Yeah. So they won't be embarrassed, and neither should you be. But you should get checked out for this, and there's a number of reasons. Let's think about the itching. It could actually be piles. You don't have to have bleeding to have piles. Itching is a very, very common symptom of piles. Or it might be something totally unrelated to piles. It might be related to the skin, where you've developed some sort of allergy to you know, washing powder or soaps or shower gel or something, or even the toilet tissue. Or it could be related to eczema around that area, which is actually, and psoriasis is actually incredibly common. Although people think about it on the limbs, around the back passage, the anus, it can be very common too. So those are the sorts of things. The other thing is, you describe a change in bowel habit, essentially. You're struggling to go. And if that's been for more than a few weeks, you definitely need to get that checked out. But what it sounds like to me is you've got constipation. And constipation, when you're trying to strain to push the bowel motion out, can cause piles. And then you get the itching, and then you get into another vicious cycle. So yes, book an appointment to see the doctor, and I do that promptly, and in the meantime, make sure that you increase the amount of fibre that you have in your diet, you increase the amount of liquid you're consuming during the day, you're doing more exercise. Those will all help soften the bowel motions and make it easier for you to pass them. Make sure you respond to the call of nature as soon as Mother Nature says, look, you need to go to the toilet. Try and keep your stress under control, and ask your pharmacist about a suitable over-the-counter laxative that you can try as well. Because, as I said, it sounds like constipation. You do need to get it checked out in case it isn't, but the odds are it is constipation, and those lifestyle measures, those steps, will help resolve the problem for you. And then your doctor may prescribe a cream for the itching around the back passage as well.
Brilliant, Rob. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And we shall see you again next week.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you. All right, everybody, now we have a short video for you courtesy of the Mental Health channel, showing us 2 friends who work in a very busy kitchen and what they do to unwind.
My name is Julio. I work at Julio's Cafe. It's a little neighborhood restaurant that my family has owned and operated for 31 years. We're open 7 days a week. We're serving 3 meals a day. That means you're always busy. My main job is to make sure my team works efficiently and make sure that my clientele leave satisfied, as well as maintain a very happy and satisfied staff. It's kind of a two-part deal. When the rush starts to happen in clusters and really starts to back up, you start to panic a little bit, but you don't want anyone to see that. Yes. Sorry about that whole deal. Luckily, I have someone like David or my staff that can make a call really quick and usually fix it.
You're gonna need another one for the rice? You meet a lot of customers and a lot of different personalities. A couple of times the clients has been telling me, or my coworkers, can you even understand American?
A big mistake would be a restroom not working, a customer being completely furious about the way food came out, or I have to personally put the fire out if it's even extinguishable. I know that this is a family spot and that if it's going to stay in the family, that it kind of rests on my shoulders. I can't just go to my boss and say, you know, forget you, I'm out of here. That's not going to happen. I'm going down with the ship.
Once a week, just get to free yourself. Get in the car and go somewhere because you feel the necessity.
Going outside is a change of pace from being around a lot of people.
Every time that you go out, they're always different. Either you see a rabbit or a deer or an elephant. Who knows? There's gonna be an adventure out there.
Once you get out, you're just halfway there. The trick is just to get out of the city.
Look at those vultures.
There's a little hike that goes to the top and we're gonna go up. There's a nice view up there. Pretty cool, isn't it?
Are you kidding me? Look at this. This is good.
We're going to the top of this one if we can. Woo!
Oh man, it feels so good. This is refreshing.
Yeah, it's nice to come out, reconnect with yourself and get a different perspective. Just go back into your environment with a different point of view.
Oh my God, look. The next week we're gonna go over there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good.
Thank you very much to the Mental Health channel for that video, and if you'd like to know more about them, please do head over to our website, chrissybshow.tv, and click on our contributors section. Well, after the break, we'll be treated to a performance by Calvin, who we met earlier, and also nutritionist Hannah Richards will be showing us a yummy recipe.
If you will think about people that actually are in this state with these problems like mental health issues, they mostly closed. They do not want to talk about it. Most of the time they don't want to even hang out with people, anxiety, all of that. And this project is something very, very social that actually helps you a lot with this issue.
I thought it was something good for the school to do, and it'd be quite fun learning the dance moves and everyone to join in with the dance.
I think it's just a very memorable experience. No one necessarily remembers their best maths lesson that they've had or their best literacy lesson, but I think they'll remember their best mental health dance challenge that they've had, so that's great, thank you.
Welcome back to today's Chrissy B Show, everyone, where we've been discussing mental health stigma. And if you've missed the beginning of this program, don't worry, you can head over to our YouTube channel tomorrow and you can find the show there. And our YouTube channel is The Chrissy B Show. So now it's time to head over to Hannah Richards with a yummy, nutritious recipe. Now, if you're new to this program, we do love to cover nutrition because we really do believe that it does make a big difference to the way you feel. So let's take a look.
Hello and welcome to the MTS Kitchen. My name's Hannah and today I'm going to teach you how to cook some foods that are going to help reduce your anxiety levels. You may or may not have heard that actually what we eat can have an effect on how we feel, and it's certainly true. So today I'm going to show you how to make some turkey burgers and some sweet potato wedges. Take your sweet potatoes and we're just going to start by peeling them. We're going to then parboil your sweet potatoes and then we're going to put them in the oven with some spices, some garlic, some chili. So we want to sort of try and create as much of a wedge as possible. So, you know, sweet potatoes come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, so you've got to sort of be creative. So I would chop them into a sort of a cylindrical shape. Okay, so the sweet potatoes are in the pan. We're going to move on to the turkey burgers. So I've got two types of turkey mince. One is the breast and one is the thigh. The breast mince has got a little less fat in it, and that's why I brought the thigh mince, because fat is always good when you're doing burgers because it keeps it all together. And I'm just going to mush them together, mixing them up. So then for a little bit of taste, we're going to take some garlic cloves, squeeze them in your presser. Now I'm going to use some coconut oil to cook, just because these turkey burgers are going to take a little time. And then I'm going to take an onion and just chop it down as finely as you can. And just break all the little bits up as well. Okay, so add into the pan your onions and your garlic. So whilst we're there, I'm going to add a chili. We're just going to go back to our sweet potatoes, drizzle some olive oil over them, some sea salt, some turmeric, and a little bit of rosemary. And then we're just going to add some of our spicy mix. So there are your spicy wedges. We're just going to put them in the oven at 180 degrees for about 25 minutes. I'm going to check them after 25 minutes, or maybe a little bit before, because everyone's oven's a little different, but we want them roasted, we want them crispy. We're going to add a little bit of flour onto our cooking board. We're going to add a little bit of salt into the turkey burger. I'm going to take a handful, give it a bit of a baste into the flour and into the pan. So the sweet potatoes are ready. They've been in for 25 minutes and we're going to take them out.
Thank you very much to Hannah there. So now I'd like to give my own opinion about today's topic. So with any kind of mental health stigma, I think it's really, really important that we do talk about the experience, and sharing your story can actually help improve people's understanding and change their attitudes. And as I said earlier, that's why we actually have this program. It's to actually explain to people what it's like to have a mental health condition, how it feels day in, day out, so that people can be more understanding, I suppose, and not give people such a hard time and not be so judgmental. But there's something that I'd like to focus on today is actually self-stigma. So perhaps because of other people's attitudes towards you, you have developed this self-stigma. So maybe you think that you're not actually capable of getting a job, for example, or being a good employee. And this just isn't true. As I've spoken about on this program before, though I had depression and panic attacks and other mental health issues, I was still a really good worker because I was still very dedicated. The mental health problems I was going through didn't prevent me from being a good employee. I always got on well with my colleagues. I was actually able to do, I won't say better, but I was able to do really well because I needed to focus on something, I suppose. So don't think that, oh, because I have this problem at the moment that I'm going through, that's it for me and I can't do well. That's not true. There are plenty of people that are doing really well despite what they're going through at the moment. And what you have to focus on are the actual things that you are really good at, and concentrate on those and perfect those things. Because if you start to believe in the self-stigma, you could actually end up withdrawing, you could start feeling frustrated, and you can lose, your confidence. And then you end up automatically kind of self-sabotaging, really, because you end up kind of ruining a good thing. So don't let anyone ever make you think that you aren't capable or to make you feel small. You are very strong. And again, I repeat, I really do think people with mental health problems that are very strong, they have a strength inside of them that they don't even realize. Because think about it, despite what you're going through, despite many of you sort of waking up feeling very low about yourselves, feeling like there's a heavy load on you, feeling maybe nervous because you suffer from anxiety. Despite all of that, you are going to work. Some of you are even in the mental health industry. Some of you have children that you're looking after. You have elderly parents that you're looking after. You are actually doing really well despite what you're going through. So don't think that you're a weak person. Yes, you're going to have your difficult days, but of course, and let me be very clear about this, again, I don't believe this is it for you, that if you have got this mental health condition, that's it, that you should learn to live with it. I don't believe in learning to live with a mental health problem, especially things like depression and panic attacks, because I believe anything is curable. I'm a person of faith. I do believe that things can change even if everyone else says it's impossible. So never ever lose hope, and don't think that you've just been, this condition that you have right now defines you, because it doesn't. Keep fighting back until you win. So I have almost reached the end of today's program, everybody, because we are going to have a performance shortly. But if you have a story that you would like to share, please do contact us on info@chrissybshow.tv. You can also tweet or Instagram us @ChrissyBShow, or leave a message on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. And if you'd like to know more about my mental health journey and how I beat all those mental health problems, you can visit my personal website, which is mylifeafterdepression.com. So to finish off the show, here's a performance by Calvin Billington-Glen.
There must be lights burning brighter somewhere. Got to be birds flying higher in the sky, more blue. If I can dream of a better land where all my brothers walk hand in hand, tell me why, oh why won't that dream come true? Oh why? Got to be peace and understanding sometime. Strong winds of promise that will blow away all the doubt and fear. If I can dream of a warmer sun, where hope keeps shining on everyone, tell me why, oh why won't that sun appear? We're trapped to the world with too much rain. We're lost to the world, just troubled with pain. But as long as a man has the strength to dream, he can redeem his soul and fly. Deep in my heart, there's a trembling question. Still I'm sure that the answer's gonna come somehow. Out there in the dark, there's a beckoning candle. And while I can think, while I can talk, while I can stand, while I can walk, while I can dream, please let my dream come true. Oh, right now, let it come true right now. If I could dream